For this Madhouse Knife Only guide, we're just going to jump right on in. Starting at options. I personally don't do everything I think you're technically supposed to do. I will go over the big ones though. So I might link a video that more extensively goes over your settings. It was for a NG plus, any percent NG plus playthrough. But yeah, you're supposed to have your resolution lower, pretty sure, stuff like that. But the really important things is that your frame rate's on variable and your VSync is off. Okay, that's how you get high frame rates. This is for PC, by the way, if anyone was confused. Everything else I kind of just set it to lower, unless I didn't feel like it. But the other big one is effects rendering. You have to have it on low. Okay, if it is not on low, there's one big sequence that does not work, among other things. And the last thing to probably mention is that you can't turn your shadow quality all the way down, because if you do that, then the shadow puzzles are basically impossible. So that should cover all the options, and then probably if I link the video, that should cover the rest. Let me turn off the audio for explaining stuff. And we're just going to jump right in. I think I'll talk a little, and then we're just going to skip around. So, for Guest House, there's a lot of cutscenes and nonsense that, we don't have to play it here. I'll just splice past it, yada yada. Let me just think of things to talk about, and if I run out of things to talk about, we'll just skip straight to Ethan running, and then I think from there, I don't have to show Ethan running all the time. Like, I'm just going to skip to various points of interest for the Guest House. For the rest of the run, I'm basically going to show everything, but skipping maybe a cutscene here or two. But for this Guest House, I'm definitely going to be skipping around because there's a lot of nothing going on, that's for sure. So for Madhouse Knife Only, it's definitely a really fun run. I really do enjoy it. It can be rough on the fingers, but for the most part, it's really just about learning the boss fights, and understanding health values, understanding boss attacks. You really need to learn the boss attacks, whereas probably in most other runs, you either kill the boss so fast it doesn't matter, or you stay so far back away from the boss that you never really have to learn their attacks for the most part. But Madhouse Knife Only, like the Margaret fight, you're going to have to learn every attack. There's a lot going on, for sure, at different points. And I'll try to cover it when we get to it, and then that'll be it. Yeah, I think I'll skip around starting now. So yeah, I'll skip around to Ethan at the car, and then other points of interest, I guess. So yeah, see you there. Alright, so for this first opening sequence, nothing much to it. I'm probably going to skip around pretty soon. We're just running a bit, and try to run as optimally as you can. It's worth noting that you don't have to run very perfectly optimally for Madhouse Knife Only, for sure. It's really about completing the run more than anything else without dying. So yeah, I do not run the Guest House as optimally as like an NG plus any percent player here. I would say for reference, okay, so when Mia first jump scares you, she like pops up on the stairs. I usually get to that point at 9 minutes and 19 seconds, and I see, like, I've watched NG plus runners get there in like 9 minutes and 15 seconds, stuff like that. So yeah, but I think, for the most part, this is good enough. Gotta make sure to try to time a crouch here to not waste time. That's pretty much it for now. And once you enter that, you want to mash F here, and the first retry is coming up. So once you get to these wood boards, you'll notice that you see the autosave in the corner. That means you're in the right spot, and you can retry. Retrying here, there's a few different reasons why you retry, and you don't really do it much in Madhouse. In this particular case, Ethan gets faster movement speed when you retry there. Okay, and then for here, after we pull the lever, we're going to get to the door that opens, pressing F, crouching, and then switching FPS here to get through like a second faster. And then we immediately change it back. So FPS in this game affects various things, and one of them is collision. and you can squeeze through tight spaces much better on 30 FPS compared to variable. So yep, and there's a lot of other FPS related things going on in the game as well. So coming up here, usually you get jump scared by Andre coming out of the water, but if we look to the right as we go under this and get against the wall, and then once the bubbles happen, we can look forward again, and we skip Andre. In case you didn't know. So now, normally I would skip this whole part because it's just a walking sim, auto-scroller, and you can grab the bolt cutters from there, and then you want to do F down right F. Try to get good at pressing your buttons fast, like that. And say, normally I would just skip to way forward because it's just an auto-scroller, but you're going to be doing this a lot, and so you might go crazy doing this a lot. And so I just like to really screw around here, and there's a lot of opportunity to screw around. It's really up to you. So I'll just show you various things I do. I'm going to have to turn on the sound just to hear the audio cues.
Did anyone see you? Did he see you?
Otherwise, I'm not going to know when to run back. You'll see.
What's going on?
Daddy's coming. We need to go.
Daddy?
We need to go now!
So as long as you delete the email and you hit this first trigger, there's just so much potential of screwing around you can do. So right here, you can delete that email and be hovering on the bolties.
Someplace safe.
And now
What's going on?
we can do whatever we want until the next trigger. So I like to bow to the toilet.
3 years? Has it
Right?
really been
You can bow to
3
the
years?
toilet. There's also a piece of toilet paper over here that can really bless your run if you get the right bow down. Maybe like that. And when you hear Mia stumble back, that's when you gotta start running back for the most part. Okay. So right there, and boom. That's the next trigger. You have to be standing close to her right as she finishes that animation. And now we can go back to doing whatever we want. Like this time, I'll just run over here and take a nice bath. So this whole time, Mia's slowly walking forward, and we're still gonna get back before the next trigger. Pay our homage to the heroin toilet again, of course, naturally. And then when she turns around is the next trigger, right there.
Mia, we have to
Okay,
talk.
and now we can keep screwing some more. You don't have as much time here, so I like to just quickly get a few bows to the toilet paper,
Okay,
and that's pretty much it.
Just tell me what's going on.
Okay, and then right before she says we have to go this way, you're going to already be running back. If she says we have to go this way and you haven't started running back yet, and you're at the toilet paper, you're not going to get to the next trigger in time. In case you needed to know. So next trigger's right here.
Mia.
And now we can't run back very far, but there is a piece of toilet paper right here.
I remember.
So knock yourself out. And that's going to be the end of messing around for the most part. The next trigger is when she gets to the end of the next corner. Right here. And boom, there. That's the next trigger.
There. It's there.
And then the final trigger is right here. Right there.
This is it.
Which, those last two triggers don't really matter because you're going to be next to her no matter what. And next level, messing
remember this
around, try to position yourself so that Mia
Another
pushes
door
you.
here. I'm
It's kind of
sure
hard to
it.
do. You want to try to get a good push. Like, that was a decent push.
It's not here. It's gone. It's gone.
And you notice how we made sure to see Mia's eyes wiggle like that? Very important. Otherwise your run is not blessed.
Right here.
And now for this, I kind of just line myself up and then tap left a bit.
Another door here.
And then make it so my camera is like kind of like that. And that's good enough.
No,
There we
no,
go.
leave me alone.
This sounds very different with a lot of sounds off, but that's whatever. And so yeah. Next thing we're gonna do. Well, okay. Well, first we have to tap the. You have to slightly dip inside the bathroom to progress the game. And then there's just a bunch of cutscene nonsense that plays. The only thing to note is after the first initial sequence, you have to run towards Mia to save like a second. But other than that, I'm just gonna skip to the end of the sequence, and we're gonna start the sequence to make Mia stand up faster. Okay, so this is a good point to start explaining getting her up fast. So on Madhouse, you do grab the two heels first, That's okay. So there's a few moving parts to getting her up fast. So the first thing to note is, first of all, whether or not she gets up starts with a 10-second timer. She does not get up until a 10-second timer is elapsed. So on Madhouse, while this 10-second timer is elapsing, we can go grab these 2 heals. Okay? And so we grab the 2 heals, use the 2 heals, and then we line ourselves up on a piece of chalk. At least that's what I do, as you're going to see. So I kind of go this way, and then the chalk on the ground, tap forward, kind of like that. And then she gets right back up. Okay, and now we're going into the Mia 1 fight. And so we're just going to grab the axe, and we try to get multi-hits by lining yourselves up right. Just try your best. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it. It's just faster. Without sound, it's kind of more difficult, but I did get it. So you notice my SRT that's showing the health bars. Because of the SRT, which stands for Speedrunning Tool, I was able to see that her health had fully depleted. And when her health fully depletes, that's when she will grab you, and you just press... If you're holding space, the fight immediately ends. Yeah, usually there's audio cues to know a few things. I'm just winging it. I line myself up on this pleat right here, because you can't stand right next to the phone before it rings. And then you answer the phone. Killing Mia fast like that also has a side effect of making the axe appear in the hallway, which means you pick it up faster, which is also nice. So not much for now. There's going to be a retry coming up. I'll point it out. Make sure you grab the axe. Retry coming up right here. See the autosave in the corner, which means we're good. I think it makes Ethan faster there or something. I'm not totally sure. It's allegedly good to do, so we do it. Now your cursor should already be on the bolties, so you're going to align yourself up and mash F, and you should get it. Now, just for a quick little strat that saves like a second, when you open this cabinet, you cannot grab the fuse right away, okay? So in the time it takes for us to be allowed to grab our fuse, we're going to move as far over, because we're going to eventually go that way, we're going to move as far over as we can, and change our inventory to here, because that's where the fuse is going to be, in one fell swoop, and then grab the fuse. So in theory, you lose no time doing that, because it's all downtime, right? But if you mess it up, you'll lose a second, so it really doesn't matter. This is like a 1 to 2 second time save, so this is it. Okay, I had a dead input there, but whatever. So yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Things can go wrong and you lose a second instead. And now there's going to be the arm cutting off cutscene, but this is the Sarah D version of the game, so your arm actually does not get cut off. But I'm just going to skip past all this, because we don't really need to know about this. It's just another cutscene. See you there? Alright, we're back. We're gonna first pull our axe back out, because your axe gets unequipped in that cutscene. And something very important is you should make a save here, but you have to make sure you wait for the stairs to go all the way down before you make your save. If you don't, then whenever you reload here, you're gonna have to wait. The stairs will be all the way back to the top and slowly come down again. So if you plan on practicing this fight, really go out of your way to make sure the stair has fully completed its animation. Okay? And then make your save. I'm going to turn the sound back on here. Sound effects. Yeah, I'll leave sound effects on. We don't need anything else, I don't think. Okay, so it's important to note there is a safety trait you can do here. You can just grab this heal. Mia's chainsaw does 500 damage, but there's a mechanic that makes it so your health is set to 1. So like if I took 500 damage right now, my health would be set to 1. So you actually can take it gives you an extra hit. If you take this heal, you can take an extra hit in the fight upon taking the heal. Okay, so now we're at the Mia 2 fight, and we'll discuss it a little. Normally you just go right to the ladder, start the fight, open this door, and grab the heal that's right here. It's behind the door, but you can grab it through the door, like that. Okay? So for the Mia fight, people all have their own setups for the multi-hit. And so this is an FPS related trick. You're going to want high FPS for this trick. I need to make it so I can see my own FPS. Okay. So currently, the FPS will change once Mia drops down, but currently my FPS is like 420. Nice. And so people have their own ways of lining up. I Okay, so when Mia drills, chainsaws through there, there's actually like a piece of debris that lands at Ethan's feet, and that's what I use to set it up. And so it's going to be somewhere around here. She's going to drop down. You're going to run forward like this, and you're going to basically start the hit at her arm and continue it through the rest of her body. Get a good multi-hit, hopefully. Okay, so let's see just see it in action, and I think I'll do it a few times, and I'll also do a variation where I miss the multi-hit. I straight up miss. Well, if I miss it here, I'll do that variation now, but if I don't miss it, then I'm going to do a variation at some point where I do miss it, just so you can see that you don't have to get the multi-hit, okay? Here we go. So, grab this, take the heal. You'll see the thing. Okay, that was okay. You can do a lot better. Okay, well, she's actually messing me up kind of badly right now. So this is a pretty bad fight. But, you know, that's the fight. Okay, let's do another one, hopefully where I get a better one. Oh, I forgot to make a save. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I was not going to watch all those cutscenes again. Okay, let's see another fight example. And at some point I'm going to do one where I just slice her to death with no multi-hit. Okay, much better. If I didn't get hit there, I would have been a really good fight. Okay, this would have been a good fight, except I messed up the second hit. But you saw I did a lot of damage in that first hit, which is really nice. So that's a good enough example. We'll go with that. So now we're going to do a variation of the fight where I quote-unquote miss the multi-hit, just to show you that it's possible. Especially if you grab that extra heal. Just in there. Of course, if you're going fast, you can't really afford to grab it, I'd say. Okay, but we're going to pretend to miss the multi-hit, and then we're just going to do the fight from there, and hopefully it goes well. You can do it, you just got to dodge and weave. Okay, we missed. Now we dodge and weave. You gotta learn the spacing to effectively do this. But it can be done. And I guess this is a console-friendly strat as well, since, you know, it's already harder to get any multi-hits on console anyway. Okay, that one looked a little closer than I would have liked. But yeah, dodging and weave. You do have to learn her attacks to really anticipate what she's going to do. But yeah. You do not need the multi-hit to kill her, okay? Multi-hit definitely helps, though, so definitely try it. But you do not need a multi-hit, you can just dodge and weave, as you just saw me do. No hits. Glad I didn't get hit, just to really prove a point there. So yeah. You can push a box as Mia falls over to get her to try to bounce in the air. I probably should have tried to show that. But other than that, we're just waiting for Jack to show up. I think... Okay, that sound effect means Jack's about to appear behind you as long as you keep moving forward. And that's the guest house. Nothing crazy. The Mia 2 is definitely a reset point for a lot of people, but at this point for me, I usually don't reset on Mia. Like, it really is something you can get the hang of and reliably not get stuck on, I'd definitely say. But yeah, see you in the main house. Hope you guys enjoy the guide. It's gonna get a lot more intense once we get to the boss fights and stuff. I'm gonna try to cover everything I can, but the boss fights are gonna be what's really in depth. So, hope you guys enjoy it. See you there.
What am I gonna do with a fucking pocket knife? Oh, that's special.